How the narcissist turns a trait of yours against you. The chime of my phone alerted me to the arrival of a text. There was nothing unusual in that. Scores arrive daily, and this rises beyond 100 or more when the glorious seduction has commenced of a fresh prime target. I look over with half interest to my phone and see a name which has attracted a greater level of interest. It is from Jane, an ex, one of the many exes. I stopped what I was doing and reached for my phone and opened up the message. It read, "It would be 2 years today. Single kiss." A flame rose inside of me at this sudden provision of fuel. Even better, it was unsolicited. Goodness me, would it have been 2 years? How time flies. The power flowed, generated by this welcome dollop of fuel. Dear Jane, always the one for remembering dates. She sent me a card and a gift to mark 1 month together. She pole danced for me to commemorate 1 month since we had first had sex. No, the pole dance and the card and gift were on different dates, just in case you were wondering. I am a gentleman after all. She sent a card to remind me that it was 3 months since our first kiss, a month since I first stayed overnight at her house, 6 months since I first set eyes on her. I used to call her the chronicler for her ability to remember the anniversary of certain key moments in our relationship. At first, I was suitably impressed by her memory and power of recall, but then I realized that she had assistance. On one particular occasion, I was having a good look around her house while she was out, opening drawers, cupboards, and so on in order to learn more about this enticing individual who I'd seduced. And in the process of this trawl, I found a diary. At the rear, she had a list of key moments in our relationship with a date written next to it. First date, first kiss, first time we had sex, first time pet name was used, first weekend away, first I love you, and so on. Each milestone, from the trivial to the fundamental, had been carefully written in her neat handwriting. She always wrote with a Mont Blanc fountain pen, something which I liked until I decided to bend the nib one day after she accused me of forgetting her mother's birthday. I didn't forget. I deliberately did not remember. Each moment, each occasion, had been carefully committed to the rear of this diary, and beside it the date inserted as well. I was impressed, and as I sat reading it, I felt the fuel of her dedication and admiration pouring over me. She was not there to do it, but I knew from reading those neat entries just how much I meant to her, just how important I was, and the fuel flowed. I remember sitting on her bed, clasping the leather-bound diary, and realizing that Jane was meeting my expectations, and that I had such high hopes for her. The reminders and commemorations kept coming. She never forgot anything. Naturally, the more traditional anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas and so forth were addressed, and not only for me, but close friends, family, and even matriarch. Of course, this slavish devotion to the recollection of events could not go unused by me. When she fell from grace, as you always do, and her denigration and devaluation began, I would always send her a reminder, written in black ink, using a superior Mont Blanc fountain pen on a crisp piece of thick white paper, inserted into a stylish small envelope. I would leave these reminders on her pillow, on her car seat, under her windscreen wiper, in her bag, on her laptop, and so forth. They read such as, 1 week since I last spoke to you, 2 months since our first argument, 5 days since I rang you, a month since we last made love, a week since the last silent treatment, 3 months since I took you anywhere. I have no idea if the timing was entirely correct with some of them. It was the effect that I was after. Sometimes she would telephone me and question why I had done this. If it was during a silent treatment, I said nothing but listened, allowing her strained tones to fuel me. Other times I would just stare at her and then snarl an insult, causing her to jump, and her fearful luck would naturally provide me with further fuel. On other occasions she did not manage to contact me, but it did not matter, because I knew how she would be responding, as I used the very thing she liked to engage as an endearing gesture from her to me in our relationship against her. Our kind like to take the wonderful and then batter it, rust it, twist it, and warp it, so it resembles something else entirely, and this act of defiling is powerful indeed in its effect. Soon I accelerated their use, and at one stage, having them delivered through her door on a daily basis. 1 day since I realised I hate you, 2 days since I realised I hate you, 3 days since I realised I hate you, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, 10 days since I realised I hate you. I don't hate you, I love you. That last note was a highly effective respite, Hoover, which had her call me straight away, and I answered straight away, and her sobbed relief poured over me with such potency, such marvellous fuel that it was. Once again, by using the very tool she deployed on our relationship, I was able to bend it, and also her, to my will. Eventually she was disengaged, cast aside, the new prospect of Andrea having come into my sights, and dear Jane was removed, not even afforded the courtesy of being a memory. That is, until that text message arrived. A foolish move on her part to reach out to me in this way, but having received the text, I knew that it was inevitable she would have done it, and indeed I know that when it is 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, she will keep sending these reminders. Her memory has been conditioned this way. Notwithstanding the pain it would invariably cause her, she wanted me to know that she still remembered still. The addition of a single X was the green light which told me that my follow-up Hoover, of course there would be one, would succeed, and that she would respond to it. Dangerous to apply those kisses. She had entered my sphere of influence. I did not want her back. I was busy with Andrea, and that seduction, but this reminder told me that there was fuel just waiting to be collected. All I had to decide was how I was going to go about it. There was no need to be malign about it. A benign follow-up Hoover would work, but in what form, and for how long? That was what then occupied my mind, as once again I remembered dear Jane and her delicious fuel. So good of her to remind me.